Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Anecdotal Economist, and gold and silver are unstoppable. I can't even begin to explain what an exciting time this is to hold precious metals. So let's have a little discussion about how it's time to reevaluate how you think about buying, storing, holding, selling, all of the above, gold and silver, because this just can't keep up. I'm going to talk about why. And this is where I'd cue the intro, but still no intro yet, so let's get straight into it. We have to start out with a chart. And as I'm recording this video, we are at $7,729 an ounce for gold. And I need to explain why this is incredible. It's incredible for a number of reasons. The first one is that typically when gold runs up on a Friday, it usually takes a dive on a Monday. And that doesn't mean anything in and of itself, except that it's just the way the standard trading pattern is set up. And what that means is we're not following the standard trading pattern, which is just interesting. Next thing, we broke $2,700, I believe it was on Friday, and we are now currently holding well above that. Usually you fight that resistance at the even number 2,700. There is no resistance up here anymore. There's no resistance. There's no technical resistance. And I know not everybody's into technicals, but the next resistance is 2,800. So literally, there's no reason we couldn't go right up to 2,800 at this point, especially since we held it. We stayed, I think it got down to like 2007 again, but then it's right back up to 2029. This is staggering behavior to me. I mean, I've never seen anything like this, not since 2008. And even then, I mean, this seems to be on a greater scale in terms of the speed of the increase. So really fun to watch. Quickly talk about silver. Silver is at $33.94. It's been flirting and fighting with $34 an ounce, which is a big gain. It's not as exciting yet, other than I can say if gold continues to go up, I solidly expect that silver's going to play some catch up. Now you guys can go listen to smarter people than me if you want to talk more about the technicals and the charts, but I just have to say this is very, very interesting. There's definitely some other things that you could pay attention to that might tell you there could be a pullback, but at this point, I don't know if you can really make a good prediction unless you're behind the scenes. I don't think the average person has access to enough information to know who's buying and why to really know exactly to really call what's going to happen over the next couple of days and weeks. But it is very, very fun to think about. And so for that reason, I wanted to talk a little bit about how it affects us lay people, us stackers that are foolishly holding on to the physical, because that's just not a good idea. Only crazies do that, right? So what has it changed? How do we reevaluate what we do? Well, for one thing, I'm starting to struggle to buy tubes of silver in the same way that I used to struggle to buy ounces of gold. You know, I used to have a regular schedule for ounces of gold, and I have now, as I've said on this channel before, reduced that to a quarter ounce on my regular interval, unless there's a pullback. That would change things. But at this time, I am just looking at quarter ounces. And I'm looking at silver now, and I'm starting to think I might have to go down to 1 ounces. In fact, I always say I do a weekly purchase just to keep my head in the game. And in that weekly purchase, I do 1 ounce of silver, but I may have to do something like a $0.50, right? Or, half ounces, the premiums are no good, but $0.50 are quite affordable. I don't know if I can keep up just buying full ounces anymore, or regularly scheduled silver purchase is usually a tube of silver. Maples, Eagles, something like that. I buy that with a fairly regular frequency. I don't know if I can do that anymore either. That is starting to get very, very pricey. And I don't want to buy too much silver. I find it is too difficult to store. I prefer gold. And in fact, I have a lot of silver that I am ready to convert into gold at any time. I purposely buy things that I don't care that much about, that I'm not that hooked into, in order to make sure that I am willing to sell things that I'm not feeling like I have to hold on to it. Case in point, I have some kookaburras here. I bought 5 of them with the intention of only keeping 1, but I just bought 5 so I wouldn't feel bad selling 4. That's just how I roll. But yes, I'm starting to struggle with silver just like I did with gold when it started going up. It's like, can I really spend $40 an ounce on some of the more premium coins? Or $34, $35, $36 an ounce for some of the generics? You know, when you're playing spot +2 or spot +3, unless you're buying in bulk, right? I mean, that's getting up there. So what do we do? What are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments. The real question I think that's on everyone's mind is there going to be a pullback? I can honestly say that is very dependent on what you consider to be a pullback. Is a pullback in your mind just that it goes down a little bit or 5%? Well, to me, that's not what I'm talking about. When I say a pullback, I mean enough of a pullback to kill the momentum, to where the YouTube videos slow down, people who are interested lose their interest, people who are panic buying stop panic buying, and people like me get in the game and buy more. Is there going to be a real pullback? We're talking, I don't know, let's say 2,500 an ounce and below for gold. And for silver, anywhere back in the 20s, 28, 27, something like that. That would be a pullback at this point in time in my mind. I'm not talking $1 or $2 or, back to 2,600. I mean, we were there a couple of days ago. Is that going to happen? And what I'm going to say is, normally I would say with a high degree of certainty, I think that that pullback is very likely to happen. That's normally what I would say. I'm not so sure that that's going to happen this time. Now, there's a lot of things going on here. You have to consider the election. You have to consider the wars that are going on. You have to consider that there's buying by central bank. There's a lot to think about. But if you take all that out of the equation and you just simply look at what the price has done, and you look at what appears to be happening in the underlying economy, you see, car loans, delinquencies in housing, all kinds of things that are boiling under the surface. And I think gold and silver are giving us a sign. I think they're telling us something, and we should pay attention. I am of the opinion that gold and silver are going to go up from here. And so I think I'm going to have to keep buying. I'm not going to just pause and wait for a pullback. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average. And if you don't remember my video, dollar cost averaging to me is admitting you don't know what's going to happen. And I have to tell you, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not expecting a pullback. If you held a gun to my head and you say you've got 1 minute to predict the price up or down, I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to continue to go up. I think we are in a new paradigm. We're in a paradigm where prices go up, where a lot of people start entering the game. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. There is a limited supply of these metals, as you know, only so many of them out there. And once you reach a certain threshold, a certain percentage of people buying, you get there. And I want to specifically say that I'm not just talking about retail. I believe that retail plays a role. A lot of people will say retail as in us poor people buying physically in our homes and with our bank accounts online through ETFs. Well, that doesn't play a role. And what I would say is that prices are set on the margin, and that in the right circumstances, retail can and does play a role. But it doesn't always, right? It has to be the right circumstances. But I believe what we're going to see is that the institutional money, the Warren Buffetts of the world who historically say, I don't like gold, well, they'll like it when it comes into favor. So long story short, guys, this is a video where I just want to say that I can't keep up buying the way I have been. My income is not going up as fast as the price of gold. And I suspect a lot of you are out there in the same boat that I am. So for me, I can't tell you what to do, but for me, I am going to stay the course. I'm going to continue making small and steady purchases, as I have done for a long time. And it might get a little tough at times, but I think the payback will be there. I think for the first time in at least 10 years, we are about to see a historic rise in the price of gold. And so with that, I just want to start my coin review. I do one of these in every video for those of you who are new. At the end of the video, I try to keep them short and sweet, but just something to change it up after having the conversations about the more economic side. I want to thank all my new subscribers before I even get into this review, because I am approaching 2,000 subscribers. I just eclipsed 1,900, and that is amazing. I cannot believe the number of people who would like to come here and just watch me talk about metals and show off some of my collection, which is not that big. We'll eventually recycle coins, but for now we got new ones every day. So thank you so much to all my new subscribers. We've got another kookaburra here, and this time, I'm supposed to know the year of this, aren't I? It's a 2023. And I believe that I've mentioned before, I typically only buy kookaburras of recession years, but sometimes I just randomly buy 5 just to have if I think the design's cool or whatever, and I liked it this year. So here we go. Got this flower thing. I don't know what that flower is. I'm not the kind of reviewer that tells you the history and the details. There's a P. P stands for Perth. I know that. And really, all I can say is these kookaburras are always beautiful. This coin, it's mostly just showing it to you. Just seeing it. I don't have to describe that much because you can see it. It's a really nice coin. They always do a good job on these. I think the Kookaburra is absolutely the best series that the Perth Mint makes besides the Lunar series. And I don't collect the Lunar series for a number of reasons because I'd get addicted to it. But second place for me is for sure Kookaburras. If you've never had one, I think everybody should have at least one Kook. They are absolutely fantastic. Of course, you've always got that sort of faded, cloudy background. Nothing boring in any of these Kookaburras. And we gotta look at the reverse side quickly. There's Lizzie, once again, the late queen. And, not bad, not bad. She's got sort of a nice shirt. Look at that. That shirt is kind of interesting on there. I thought she was actually not wearing anything, but there is something there. Let's take a look at this mark. I believe that says JC. I'm assuming that's the author. It's probably not Jesus Christ. That would be cool if it was, but I do not think that is the case. One last thought about this coin is just to say that it must be really hard trying to do a bust of the queen after 100 years. And I find it interesting that they're always changing it up. It's like, okay, we got the proof on the outside, fade on the inside. She's got an interesting shirt this time. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. They're trying hard. They're doing what they can with it. Put an old lady on a coin, it's got to be a struggle. So I'll give them that. Very good coin. And so that's going to be the end of my review. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Anecdotal Economist. I really appreciate y'all watching. If you want to support the channel, give me a like, give me a comment. Today's code word, if you want to leave a comment and support the channel, but you don't know what to say, is going to be unstoppable. And with that, that's my 2 ounces worth. Remember, I'm pulling for you. And we're all in this together. And if you're still watching, I forgot, I need to swap this Kookaburra out. I am going to get rid of, I think, the Little John. It's time for the Little John to go. Put a little kook in there, and that's a wrap.
Kilogram, you're the dragon, you're the rabbit.
Okay, let's look at the money side now. Watch as I pull this bad boy out of here. Absolutely stunning once you get it out of the case. Feeling the weight of this in my hand. Oh, that's such a good feeling.
I never had enough gold.